20, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of the Almighty God be upon you all. And thank you for joining us for the Scotland Big Virtual Iftar. As you know, if you have not been to COVID, you'll be with us in the mosque to have a wonderful time together. But sadly, due to the COVID situation, we want to see your faces, and yet we are here. So we don't want to deprive anyone of this virtual iftars. And that is why, even though we have COVID, we still come your way with this big virtual iftar. This is the first one we're actually organizing in Scotland, the virtual big iftar. And as Muslims, we always start our recitation, our events with the recitation of the Holy Quran. And with this, I call upon our brother, Sajil Siddharth, to give us the Arabic recitation followed by the English translation.
Assalamu alaikum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودة فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. Translation of verses 184 to 185 of chapter 2 of the Holy Quran are as follows. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, ever merciful. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become righteous. The prescribed fasting is for a fixed number of days, but whoso among you is sick or is on a journey shall fast the same number of other days. And for those who are able to fast only with great difficulty is an expiation, the feeding of a poor man. And whoso performs a good work with willing obedience, it is better for him. And fasting is good for you if you only knew. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Sajil, for that beautiful recitation. And in the English translation, fasting is good for us if we only knew. This is the month of Ramadan, and the Muslims, what we do is we fast all the way from dawn to sunset. And when it gets to sunset, we have a meal to break the fast, and that is what is called iftar. And today we are bringing your way the Scotland Big Virtual Iftar because we don't want to deprive anyone of such a wonderful time together with the families. We now have a global family, and everyone who has joined us today, we want to welcome you. All our hearts are open to you all because we see you as part of our family. We want to celebrate the Iftar with you. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community welcomes you all. Ahmadiyya Muslim Scotland welcomes you all to this wonderful event. And for those of you on YouTube, in the Zoom room, as well as Facebook and on Twitter as well, we want to thank you for taking time to join us. And obviously, we have a session where we have the Q&A, question answer session. So if you have any questions, any comments, do feel free to put them across in the chat room, and we're more than welcome to ask your questions on your behalf so that the panelists that we have today would be able to answer your questions for you. I would want to welcome you all once again to the Scotland Big Virtual Iftar, and we move on with the introduction of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, where those of you who don't know Ahmadiyya Muslim community will have a chance to have a glimpse of what the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is about, and then also the activities of our spiritual leader, the Caliph Mirza Masroor Ahmad Khalifatul Masih V. We now ask our brother Ihsan Ansar to show us a video of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Just a short intro.
Before we start the video, due to the limitations of our live stream, we apologize in advance if the video appears jumpy or low quality. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Established in 1889 in India by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, he claimed to be the awaited reformer of the latter days, the one awaited by all major world religions. In this day and age, the teachings followed by Ahmadi Muslims are imparted through His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the Caliph and Supreme Head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Within a century, the movement has reached the corners of the world and has been recognized and praised by the global community. Around the world, the community has established foundations for a constructive influence of Islam by developing social projects, educational institutes, health services, and the construction of mosques. In the UK, the community is continuing to grow as an integral part of British society, contributing in all walks of life. In Scotland, the community has branches in Edinburgh, Dundee, and Glasgow. The establishment of these branches provides a base from which the Ahmadiyya Muslim community can serve not only its members, but wider society as a whole.
ولا تنسوا الفضل بينكم إن الله بما تعملون بصير.
At a time when all eyes are on the roles Muslims play in society, there is one community that leads by example, rejecting extremism and working with the government to counteract radicalization. The founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, stated, "My desire, my wish, and my objective is serving humanity. It is my job, my faith, my inspiration, and my way of working." Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad is the fifth and current head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Under his guidance, the community continues the work it is doing. When caliphate exists on the basis of justice, consideration for the rights of others, and an overall will for peace, as defined by the Quran and the Prophet of Islam, then caliphate has the ability to serve as a great force for good in this world. His followers, Ahmadi Muslims, number in the tens of millions, spread over 200 countries, making him the leader of the largest single group of Muslims in the world who follow one Imam. The Caliph has spoken at Capitol Hill, the British Parliament, the European Parliament, and has held court with dozens of world leaders, and is celebrated as a champion of peace by leaders across the world.
I will, God willing, always continue to carry out my task and my responsibilities of promoting peace, tolerance, justice, and compassion to the corners of the world. I will continue to tell all people that in order to be relieved of the pain and suffering that we face today, we must adopt true justice and equality.
Thank you for watching this introduction to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
May the peace of Allah be on you.
Thank you very much, Brother Arif, for that video. We now move on to, I would just want to acknowledge some of the dignitaries among us, and just to let everyone know, everyone here today is our special dignitary, but since we cannot go through all the list of dignitaries who have joined us, we want to just mention some few, and that would be a representation of everyone here who has joined us, whom we consider as a VIP today. Not in any particular order. We have Right Honorable Christine Jedin MP for East West Edinburgh. Sorry, we have Right Honorable Marion Fellows MP for Motherwell and Wishaw. Honorable Claire Adamson MSP for Motherwell and Wishaw. We have Right Honorable Kirsten Oswald MP for East Renfrewshire. Her Royal Highness Queen Nacho Chosoyo, the first Queen Mother of Jamestown in Accra. She's a monarch. And we have Right Honorable Alison Tullis, MP for Glasgow Central. We have Honorable Linda Fabiani. Sorry, I guess I was muted there. We have a Right Honorable Honorable Alison Tullis, MP for Glasgow Central. We also have Honorable Linda Fabiani, MSP for East Kilbride and Deputy Presiding Officer for the Scottish Parliament. Right Honorable the Lord Provost of Edinburgh City Councillor Frank Ross. We have Reverend Peter Gill, Church of Scotland Minister for Paisley. Douglas Yates, the Renfrewshire Interfaith Group Leader. Pastor Fever Asante, Greater Grace Apostolic Church Ministry in Glasgow, the founder. We have the Mr. Mohammed Ihsan Ahmed, President, Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Scotland. Imam Rawauddin Arif Khan, Imam of the Glasgow Baitur Rahman Mosque. And also Imam Dawood Ahmed Qureshi, who is in charge of Edinburgh 5 and Dundee. And last on my list, but not the least, is Imam Mansour Clark, missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, serving in the Ahmadiyya International Press. And that leads me to the first presentation of tonight. And I've kept him to the last because he is the first speaker for today. And we call on Imam Mansour Clark to deliver a speech on the benefits of fasting. Imam Mansour Clark.
Thank you very much. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the ever merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. We live in an era of quick fixes and treatments where we look at the branches of the tree rather than understanding the root of the issue. If I was to tell you that I had a pill which could solve some of the biggest issues that we face in humanity, what would you say? Because the biggest issues that we face in humanity as a global population come from and as a result of our own actions. be that climate change, food poverty, disparity in access to education, healthcare, war, racism, sexism, domestic abuse, crime, you name it. It comes about as a result of how we as humans act. And this comes about when we lack two integral things: empathy and gratitude. When we fail to recognize the suffering and condition of others, and also negate the blessings that we have in our own lives. Ramadan is not just about no food and no water, because otherwise Muslims would just be jumping onto Weight Watchers or Slim Fast, trying to abstain from food and water in a day, and that would be the whole month in itself. But it's not about the weight loss. It's not about simply staying away from food and water. Rather, Ramadan aims to reinvigorate two fundamental attributes, the ones that I've just mentioned already: empathy and gratitude. Ramadan literally means two sources of heat, two burnings. One, a burning, a passion for the sake of the Creator, God. And on the other side, a burning and a passion for the sake of God's creation, i.e. humanity. And by igniting these two fires within the month of Ramadan, we seek to burn away that same injustice, the selfishness, that greed that is the root of evil that we see today. When we go to the tap, we throw it on, cold water gushes out, and many of us stand there waiting for the water to get colder. We throw open the fridge, keeping the fridge open. We look for the food that we want. Nah, not the avocado, not the cucumber, I'll go for that. And we forget the luxuries that we live with and in on a day-to-day basis. While we scrape the leftovers of our yesterday's takeout into the bin, we forget the people around us. And Ramadan seeks to enable us to reconnect with reality. We're living in this reality TV show about what's going on around us in our world, and forget actually our world is much bigger than the street that we live on. At the smallest inconvenience, we throw up our hands and say, oh, why me? The Wi-Fi is out, or there's a problem with someone's wife, or someone's fallen over at school with the children. And we forget to realize that there's people around us that are suffering immensely. We forget to contextualize our suffering. That right now, there is a mother out there who is witnessing her child die because she's unable to find a single morsel of food. And this is what Ramadan does. It forces us to feel. It forces us to empathize. It forces us to be thankful. When we distance ourselves from the luxuries that we enjoy on a day-to-day basis, what we see as every day that other people would die to have, we undergo a change through this distance. They say that distance makes the heart grow fonder, yet I believe that in this case, the distance that we feel during Ramadan makes our hearts grow kinder. The purpose of Ramadan is to make us grateful, compassionate, patient, and kind. Losing weight and becoming more aware of your surroundings goes part and parcel with that. It enables us to count our blessings and not our problems, to see our lives for what they are, immense sources of blessings and grace, and to then endeavor, whilst understanding that, to endeavor with every single breath to help, love, and support those around us. We are, after all microcosms of society. And through Ramadan, we create peace, love, harmony, and a sense of giving and helping others around us. And in doing so, when realizing it within ourselves, we realize this dream of this utopian dream for the rest of the world as well. As was famously said, if you want to make the world a better place, look at yourself and make that change. And to me, that indeed is the biggest blessing of all and the biggest benefit of them all. I was told to keep it short and sweet. I hope I have, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today's program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, that was short and sweet. Imam Mansour Clark. I'll now move on to our next speaker. I believe that would be a very nice one that would usher into from Imam Mansour Clark's speech, and that is the very beauty of Ramadan. That is how Ramadan inspires the Muslims around the world to engage in philanthropic activities. It is known with facts that during the month of Ramadan, the charity activities among the Muslim world is at its peak. Now we call on our brother Muaz Ahmed to give us a bit of an insight into that. Brother Muaz Ahmed.
Thank you, Ahmed. In the name of Allah, the gracious and merciful. So I'll just share my screen first. Peace be upon you all, and welcome to today's program. Charity is a very important part of Islam and is even more significant during the month of Ramadan. Inequality and poverty cause hardships in many communities. As Ahmadi Muslims believe, this is the part of the test that God gives to those that are comfortable or financially stable, to ensure we share our temporary wealth with His creation and show compassion to those less fortunate. For our wealth was given to us by God, and it can also be taken from us by God. It is therefore upon us as our duty to help those in need and to share compassion for those who are suffering, no matter what their background. Although generosity is giving to others and helping is a natural act of humanity, it is greatly rewarded in Islam too. This Ramadan, our community members are on the front line each week, witnessing the pain of humanity. Being so close to those suffering, they see firsthand the pain and suffering, whether they are vulnerable people or people from different faiths who have left their countries to find sanctuary here in Scotland. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Scotland, with branches in Edinburgh, Dundee, and Glasgow, have been working tirelessly each week to reach out to those people, and just in the last 12 months alone have provided more than 14,000 cooked meals and over 15,000 food items to various homeless shelters and food banks. Across the M8, Seagull House and James Bank homeless shelters in Dunfermline, Cunningham House in Edinburgh, and Kirkcaldy Food Bank have been regular in receiving food donations throughout the past 12 months and continue to do so during the month of Ramadan. From our members in Edinburgh, in Dundee, our local Muslim youth have been donating to Dundee Food Bank and the famous King's Cross Hospital in Dundee. In Glasgow, we have provided Biju Amara, Safe in Scotland, and Help for the Homeless meals. These are simple, cooked foods such as nutritious turka dal with rice and chicken curry with rice. In December, a cheap and easy cooking campaign was launched by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the UK. The initiative by the community to show how tasty, healthy meals can be cooked at home for as little as 9p per serving. This campaign features a recipe booklet on how to make these dishes quickly, easily, and cheaply with no compromise on taste. The feedback for the campaign has been very positive. The booklet can be accessed from Love for All, hatredfornone.org website. Nothing feels better than the act of giving that serves as a reminder that everything we have in this world is immaterial. All these activities, we pray, will continue into the months ahead and the year to come, God willing. Flying the banner of love for all, hatred for none, Ahmadi Muslims are distinguished by promotion of active citizenship, loyalty to Britain, and serving mankind. As Ahmadi Muslims, it becomes our responsibility to help those in need. So providing various homeless shelters is just a small part of our community can play an active role in the society we live in. I would like to mention that behind every cooked meal is the successful hand of members from our women's auxiliary who in their busy lives as mothers still sacrifice their time and wealth for the sake of others. May God bless them. I would like to end with a statement by the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmed, may God be his helper, said, "Our motivation and our desire to serve others is driven entirely by the teachings of Islam." Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Brother Moaz. Our motivation, our desire, and our inspiration are all motivated by the teachings of Islam. I know those of you who have actually joined us in our mosque for our events, and those who have also joined us for the virtual and the iftars in the mosque, who know that one of the major activities that goes on in the mosque is when you come in, we take you on the tour of the mosque so that you get to know what goes on in the Muslim places of worship. We don't want to deprive you of this as well. And as such, we bring you the virtual mosque tour of the mosque in Scotland. So if you have the video ready for us, please.
Welcome to the virtual tour of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Mosque in Glasgow. Located in the York Hill area in the west end of the city, this beautiful building was built in 1904 as a Masonic lodge by the Freemasons. 80 years later, it was purchased by the community in 1984, and it was converted into a mosque and inaugurated by the fourth Caliph of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, may Allah have mercy on him. He named the mosque Baitur Rahman Mosque, House of the Gracious. Over the years, many events have taken place, such as peace symposia, charity fundraising, and open days, to name a few. The mosque has also been blessed with 2 visits from the 5th Caliph and the current head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. People from all around the world have come to visit this mosque. We also had the pleasure of hosting our Right Honourable First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. Due to the current pandemic, special measures according to government guidelines are in place to ensure the safety of people praying in the mosque. The number of people worshipping in the mosque is restricted, temperature checks are taken, and a special register is kept of each visitor. Members are required to wear face masks and bring their own prayer mats. Before every prayer, it is obligatory to perform ablution, as it is a requirement to be clean and pure in order to worship Allah Almighty. The mosque has a large prayer area for men as well as for women. Both are separate from each other. Shoes are not allowed in the prayer area of the mosque to keep it clean and tidy. The prayer area is kept plain and simple with no pictures or paintings. There are a few Arabic inscriptions on the wall that say, "Surely in the remembrance of Allah, hearts find comfort." Worshippers cover their head and refrain from eating or drinking in the mosque area used for prayers. There are 5 prayers performed at the mosque daily. Before each prayer, the adhan, the call to prayer, is given in a beautiful and melodious way.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
The prayer starts by raising both hands and saying Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. The prayer is led by the Imam, who stands at the front in a special area called the Mihrab. Everyone else stands in rows behind the Imam, facing the same direction. All Muslims around the world pray by facing towards the Holy Kaaba in Mecca, which is a symbol of unity. There are no special places reserved at the mosque. The worshippers stand shoulder to shoulder, rich or poor, short or tall, irrespective of background, color, or race. However, because of COVID-19, A 2-meter distance between each worshipper is mandatory at all times. Prayer in congregation is emphasized in Islam. According to a saying of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayer in congregation holds 27 times more blessings than prayer offered alone. He has also said that prayer in the mosque is only required when it is safe to do so. Friday is a special day for all Muslims and is called Jummah. A sermon is delivered by the Imam and a prayer is offered instead of the midday prayer. After the prayer, members leave the mosque quietly from a different door, keeping social distance to other members in mind. Apart from the praying areas, the mosque also has a kitchen to prepare meals, an extensive library accessible to all visitors, and various offices and meeting rooms are also part of the facility where classes, lectures and meetings are held in normal circumstances. Normally this event would take place in our multi-purpose hall. During this current pandemic, members are not using these facilities. Our mosque in Dundee, Baitul Mahmud, operates in the same way and also follows the same procedures during the COVID pandemic. We hope you have enjoyed the introduction to the mosque. If you would like more information about the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and our mosque, please contact our local missionary, Imam Arif Khan, using the contact details on screen. We hope you have enjoyed the virtual tour.
Thank you very much, Brother Arif, for giving us that wonderful tour. And this would give me a chance. I've got some few messages from YouTube here. I would have carried on, but this particular message that seems to caught my attention. I wish I could just read it out to everyone, and that is from Kali McNamara. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it well. Thank you so much for sharing this iftar with us. Thank you very much. And that means everyone should keep leaving your comments and your questions. And when we get to the Q&A session, we'll definitely try to answer as many as we can. She also left a particular message that is why actually that what wonderful good works. I am very interested in cookbook mentioned, but I'm having trouble finding it online. Yes, you have the links. You can get in touch with us through Twitter or even get in touch with the Imam whose details were just given, and then we'll be more than happy to send a version of it to you if you are still interested. Thank you very much. We'll move on now to the next on, and that is to get to the guest speakers for today. And I would just want to remind our guest speakers, I know we are all enjoying it, and if we don't take care, we're blown away and we talking out of time. We are still fasting. This is iftar, and just to remind everyone, we are fasting and we are hoping to break the fast at 9 p.m. And I don't want to think any of the guests will only come between us and our food when it's time for iftar. So you don't want to get into that at all. You don't want to get into that book. And that brings me to the first speaker for today. Due to time, I wouldn't really go into much of the details, but I'll just mention the name. And that is Right Honorable Kirsten Oswald, MP for East Renfrewshire. Kirsten.
Thank you very much. And I heard your careful words and your clear instruction there. So I think that we're all very appreciative of that. And thank you also for the fantastic virtual tour there. That really made me feel a little bit as if I was really there and that we were all together. But it's wonderful, even through my computer, to join everyone this evening, and especially at such an important event. And it's lovely to think that even though we can't be together, we can have a big virtual iftar so that it's nearly the same. And obviously this is such an important time of year for us to come together too. It's also fantastic to see so many friendly and familiar faces. I know that there are a number of people here who are always so keen to support your work, and it's so encouraging for me to see them here again today. I think that what you said about us all being family is such a powerful message for us to take away and reflect on, and that's how it has felt when you've invited us to join you. I've no doubt that those who are watching and listening will feel likewise. I think when we're thinking of Ramadan, the discipline and the perseverance that's always so evident during Ramadan takes on a whole new focus when you think of that in the context of the COVID pandemic. And I do hope that as people are fasting and offering prayers, that you do find peace and happiness. And that spirit of peace and happiness is what is always so clear to me when I visit, even if I'm visiting through my computer, as I am at the moment, with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. And of course, as we know, that's also true in all of the people locally, just as it is in helping people in countries across the world and making a real difference to people's lives. I thought that the Virtual Religious Founders Day in April, when we heard lots of multi-faith contributions, was a real testament to your desire and interest in working in that family way with so many other people. And I think that that really matters. I think that we can all learn lessons from the way that you put loving your neighbour into practice and turn words into deeds. And we should all stop, I think, and learn from your concept of love for all and hatred for none also. I know that that's such a vital driving force for your community, and that came through so strongly in that fantastic video showing us all about the hard work and the charitable efforts that have been taking place this year. And I think that that embodies the way that this community works for me, that focus on supporting others and working together to help those in need. I think we're all the better for having you there doing that. We're very grateful and very fortunate that that is the case. And I know that I speak for everyone in saying how grateful we are to be joining you for this big virtual iftar. So best wishes to all of the community, and I look forward to hearing and seeing more as the evening progresses. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kirsten Oswald, MP for Renfrewshire East, for that brief message, and we thank you for joining us again. And I'll move on to my next speaker for today, and that is Her Royal Highness Queen Na Chocho Soyo I, who is the Queen Mother and Monarch of Jamestown in Accra, Ghana, but residing in the United Kingdom. If we have Her Royal Highness Queen Na Chocho Soyo.
Assalamu alaikum to everybody, and good evening to the invited guests and everyone across social media who's listening to us this evening. Always, it's a pleasure to join the Ahmadiyya community in your events. Once again, we're brought into focus of the reasoning behind some of the work that you do, particularly at a time when we're reminded that in a world where instant gratification seems to be the order of the day, that we can stop for a moment and take stock. As Imam said before earlier, we can take stock of what it is to be grateful, but more importantly, we give our minds and our bodies the opportunity to refocus, reset, in order that we can take on all the challenges that life throws at us. And so for me, it has always been a practice, although I don't do it throughout the period. It has always been a practice for me during Ramadan to join in the fast for health reasons, as well as for, I suppose, in some sense, to remind myself that in denying the need for instant gratification, I'm able to focus more on other things. In terms of the charitable work that Ahmadiyya does, I think that also Ramadan, growing up in Ghana, Ramadan is the time when I see Muslims go around, not only to provide food to families, we tend to go to houses and be fed. But beyond that, I see growing up a sense of community, but also attention to people who have nothing. So the culture of giving money to the poor, people who may be by the roadside, whose only source of income is to beg other people for whatever can be given. This practice has stayed with me until now. And I think I join the Ghanaian community in the UK, especially our local community, the traditional community, in congratulating the Ahmadiyya movement and Ahmadiyya community for all that you do, not only in my motherland, Ghana, but in the UK and across the world. I think your example is something that we all seek to emulate. And I'm definitely privileged to be part of your, I always say, a de facto part of your community. Thank you for having me this evening. I pray, when you pray, remember to pray for all of us. But more importantly, I pray that your prayers are heard before the Almighty. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Her Royal Highness Queen Na Church-Osorio, for that wonderful brief message for all of us. And I guess this gives me the time to remind everyone here who is joining us today that we have the Ramadan challenge. That is, those of you who are not Muslims and still want to fast, after listening to all the benefits that we get out of fasting, I think it's time to take a challenge. And that you can just get in touch with us through the imam of any of the imams, or just get in touch with through our website, the Big Iftar website, and then we can give you the guidance. And even if you need any support in that sense, we're more than happy to give you that support to fast as well, to get the benefit of the fasting. Thank you very much. We're gonna move on to our next speaker for today, and that is Her Royal. I think Her Royal is now becoming a bit of a, I just probably need to clean my lips a little bit. Thank you very much. And I'll move on to Right Honorable Alison Tolis, MP for Glasgow Central, another good friend of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Alison Tolis, if you're here, please.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see you all. Assalamu alaikum. It's so wonderful to join you for this virtual iftar this evening. And I was thinking, I can't believe it's now been 2 years of virtual events and virtual iftars. And it does make me miss you all the more, and not being able to come together and share with you in the mosque, and have the wonderful food as well as we break the fast. I can almost imagine, I can almost taste the biryani and the wonderful foods that you provide us with when we come and visit. And I look forward very soon to being able to come and renew our friendship and see you all again in person. And I just wanted to thank you so much for all the community work that you've been doing to help provide food to others, because not only is that a wonderful thing that you're doing in any time, but to provide food for others when you're fasting yourself is really quite an incredible sacrifice. And I want to thank everybody for that. It's been very greatly appreciated by the community in Glasgow. And they are very glad of the support that you give, and I'm sure that my colleagues would agree for the city that we thank you so much for that. And I noticed in Muaz Mohammed's presentation the part from the Quran where it says vie with one another in good works, and I think that really is something that we can all take to heart, and something that we can all try and live with as well, because competing for doing good is certainly something that the world would be better if we were all taking that approach. And I think that's definitely something that we can remember and keep with us as we move forward through the pandemic, because so many people have been competing to do those good works, to look after one another, to help their neighbours, to help those that they don't know at all. And I think it's been part of the strength, I suppose, of the community that people have come together through these difficult times to look after one another. And the Ahmadiyya community has certainly been at the heart of that in Glasgow. So I just want to really thank you so much for all that you have done, to wish you all the best with the rest of Ramadan, and I hope you look forward to breaking your fast into iftar very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Alison Tolis, MP for Glasgow Central, for that brief comment. We'll now move on to our next speaker, and that is going to be our last guest speaker for tonight. And that has been kept to the end because apparently she has been one person who has been very supportive of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, but sadly, this is going to be her last event with us as the Deputy Presiding Officer and also the member of the Scottish Parliament, MSP. And that brings me to Honourable Linda Fabiani, MSP for East Kilbride and Deputy Presiding Officer for Scottish Parliament. And Linda, please don't let us cry. Okay, thank you very much, Linda. Over to you now. Linda, in case you are speaking, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please.
I believe Linda may have dropped off the call.
Oh, okay. She was in here. Let me see. Oh, okay. I think she's probably dropped. Let's wait for her to rejoin. When I move on to, I think due to time, we will just have to carry on, and whenever she joins us, we would give her the chance to say some few words. Oh, I think she's just coming back on. Yes, Linda, you're back on now. It's your turn to speak. So if you're ready, you can just unmute yourself, Linda.
Did you lose me?
Yes, we lost you.
Well, that was a bit careless, I think.
I
don't know what happened. I had assumed it happened to everyone, but if it was just me, my apologies. I don't know why that happened. Well, I'm so glad I was able to get back, because this is a very special evening for me, can I say to all my friends. And like Her Royal Highness, I have come to consider myself a de facto member of the Ahmadiyya community, because it seems like a long, long time that I've been privileged to be part of some of your joyous celebrations. And tonight is joyous, and it is a privilege to be here. But it's also the last time that I will be part of this community at a meeting as an elected member of the Scottish Parliament, because I'm retiring in 2 days' time. And it also means that it is the last event that I will attend and contribute to as a member of the Scottish Parliament. And I really can't think of a better bunch of friends that I would like to be with to do that. And I hope, though, that I'll be along many, many times, because, as others have mentioned, it's wonderful to be part of this virtual occasion, but it's even better to be able to meet with friends in person and to come along to the mosque in Glasgow, because it always has such a feeling of peace and contentment and fellowship, and it's something I've come to treasure very much in the years that I have been coming along. I've got lovely memories of the community from the very first time, too many years ago than I care to remember, when I was approached in my own hometown of Straven by someone who told me about the community, and I had never heard of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and I was quite fascinated. I have to admit, a bit sceptical about it all, because it all sounded like you were just a wee bit too good, I have to say. But as I came along to meet people, I realised that it was in fact all genuine, and it was true, and that it goes from the children right through the joy in the children that I've met, right through to the adults, and the absolute fun that I have with the ladies when we manage to get along to the mosque is, I won't go into that because that's all very secret to the ladies, and it's wonderful. And I have to say, the chaps that I've come across are people who I've learned an awful lot from. For me, that culminated in attending the Jalsa Salana some years ago, when Ahmed strong-armed me into attending, though it was one of the best things he ever did for me, because it was a fascinating occasion. I loved every minute of it, the sense of people coming together, the sense of peace, the sense of joy and happiness, and knowing that this was happening globally as well. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing to be part of. And that's, I think, what's great about the community. It works on a global level, but it also works very much on a local level, which is what we've seen tonight by some of the works that are being done. Some of the good works that are always done, but it's really stepped up during this COVID crisis that we've had. And I was really pleased to hear Moaz Ahmed saying that some of the work that's been done with food and the homeless is going to carry on. And I think something we've all learned through this pandemic is that we really need to work together a bit more. So an awful lot of things that your own community have talked about over the years, I think a a lot of other communities are starting to recognise and realise. Now, I'm aware time's short, and aware that Ahmed is really, really hungry, and I wouldn't like him to get annoyed at me at the last time I come along here as an MSP. So I'll close by saying, I've always, I think, ended contributions here by saying love for all, hatred for none, because I think it's just an absolutely wonderful sentiment, both in theory and in practice as I've seen it. But I picked up another one tonight that I thought was excellent. And I think everyone should go on their way and do not forget to do good to one another. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Linda, and thank you very much for being there for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community since the time we've known you. I believe some of us will not be crying on the screen. We'll try and hide and cry, not here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Linda. Thank you. We now move on to a brief video to just give us a glimpse of what a Muslim's day looks like in the month of Ramadan. And this is going to be done by our brother Ihsan Savdaba, played by the person who's been playing the video for us, Arif Sai. Brother Arif, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahsan Hussain Safdar, and I am the Regional Officer of Department of Welfare and Charities for the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association in Scotland. And today I will be showing you the day in the life of a Muslim during Ramadan. That's just me up for my sahur, starting of the fast. So for the start of my fast, I'm just going to have some breakfast. So I've got some cereal, got a bit of coffee, water and yogurt milk. This will keep me going throughout the day. Thank you. I have just completed my ablution, which all Muslims need to do before the start of the prayer. So I'm just about to offer my morning prayer, followed by the recitation of the Holy Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alif Lam Mim. Zalika Kitabul La Rayba Fihi. Hudan lil Muttaqin. Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. Alif Lam Mim. This is a perfect book. There is no doubt in it. It is a guidance for the righteous. Assalamu alaikum. So I'm just heading off to work just now. I've got a half day today, which will allow me to offer my afternoon prayer, and I've got an event with the community later this afternoon as well. See you then. During our free time in the holy month of Ramadan, we watch inspirational videos, especially Islamic ones, with the kids, so we increase our knowledge. Assalamu alaikum. I'm just about to open my fast, and for my iftar, I normally have a few dates, fruit and some milkshake, and then after our prayer we will have our meal. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Now that was a lovely meal, alhamdulillah. Now I'm going to the mosque for my evening prayer, and then I'll be back home to rest. This is my local mosque, which I'll be entering shortly.
Thank you very much for that short but glimpse of what actually happens in a day of a Muslim in the month of Ramadan. When I move on to our next speaker for today, and that is in the person of our revered Imam of the Glasgow Mosque. And I believe this is one pertinent issue which is causing a bit of issues in the system, and that is vaccination during the month of Ramadan, or vaccination during fasting. And then he, being a scholar of Islam, would want to give us a bit of an insight into the whole idea of what we do when it comes to this vaccination, especially in this pandemic. Imam Rawuddin, Arif Khan. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I hope and pray that all of you who have joined us today are safe and well. The world around us has changed, but we are making a great progress towards a positive change. One major development is, of course, the coronavirus vaccination. Some of you already had the opportunity to get vaccinated, and some others might be waiting for their appointments. Either way, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is encouraging all community members to get the vaccine. As a Muslim, you have the obligation to worship Allah and also to serve mankind. Now, serving mankind also entails to keep everyone safe according to the tradition of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, which says that a Muslim is he from whose hand and tongue others are safe. Thus, during these unprecedented times, it is vital for all Muslims to try the level best to keep everyone safe. That would also include getting the vaccine. If a Muslim is not getting the vaccine when he's asked to get it because of negligence, and he, God forbid, passes on the virus when it could have been prevented by, let's say, social distancing, wearing a mask, or even because of getting the vaccine, he will be accountable in front of Allah Almighty, as he was responsible for the safety of the people in his environment. The Holy Quran states that if you kill a person, it shall be as if you have killed the whole of mankind. And if you save a person, it is akin saving the whole of mankind. Thus, we are encouraging everyone to save the whole of mankind by taking all measures that are set in place, including getting the vaccine. We are currently passing through the Islamic month of Ramadan, and Muslims all over the world are abstaining from food and drink and some other things that are usually permissible to Muslims solely for the sake of Allah Almighty. The commandment regarding fasting has been given in the Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 184, which you have also listened to the beautiful recitation in the beginning of our program, which says that, O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become righteous. The prescribed fasting is for a fixed number of days, but whoso among you is sick or is on a journey shall fast the same number of other days, and for those who are able to fast only with great difficulty is an expiation, the feeding of a poor man. And whoso performs a good work with a willing obedience, it is better for him, and fasting is good for you if you only knew. Now here, the condition for fasting is that one is healthy and not traveling. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained women who are pregnant or breastfeeding also fall under the same category. If someone is sick or on a journey, shall complete the number of days that he has missed after the month of Ramadan, and he has the remaining 11 months to do so. Now Allah Almighty then explains why these conditions were given in the following verse. Allah desires to give you facility, and He desires not hardship for you. Now Allah Almighty wants the believer to happily implement these commandments so that he's not put into great difficulty and overburden himself. So by following these guidelines and commandments, we will receive the blessings of Allah Almighty. If someone is sick and he doesn't fast and makes up his fast once he's fit and healthy, he will get the blessings and the reward for following the commandment of concession given by Allah Almighty. Now, since the Islamic month of Ramadan is here, and the question of whether it is permissible to take the COVID vaccine whilst fasting is raised. Now, the British Islamic Medical Association has expressed their view that one can get the coronavirus vaccine even whilst they are fasting. Now, this, however, is not in line with the view of these teachings of Islam. We find a simple answer to this question in the narration of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, which says that innamal fitru mimma dakhala, that anything that has entered your body breaks your fast. So some people say that it is allowed to take the vaccine since it doesn't go into your stomach. But the narration is very clear: since the fluid of the vaccination enters your body, it breaks your fast. I want to make it clear that we are in no way preventing people to take the vaccine during the month of Ramadan. It is quite the contrary. Many of our mosques serve as vaccine centers across the UK, and we are also reminding our members to take the vaccine when they are asked to. However, if one receives his appointment during the month of Ramadan, then he should not fast on that particular day. The worldwide head of the largest organized Muslim community, His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the fifth caliph of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, may Allah be his helper, gave the following guidance to tens of millions of Ahmadi Muslims in over 210 countries around the globe. He said, receiving any form of injection while fasting, whether intramuscular or intravenous, is prohibited. If an Ahmadi receives an appointment to have their coronavirus vaccine during the month of Ramadan, they can avail of the exemption granted by Islam and abstain from fasting on the day they are due to receive the injection, and should make up the fast after Ramadan. Now this is very clear, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that alaykum bi rukhsatillahi alladhi rakhasa lakum, that take advantage of the concession of Allah which he has given you. So I hope I could give you a better understanding of the guidelines regarding the vaccination during the month of Ramadan. Thank you and stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Imam Barawuddin Arif Khan, for that brief but very concise message on the importance of the vaccination in this pandemic, that we should all go for it. But if you should have an appointment on a particular day, just abstain from the fasting on that very day and go for the vaccination. And after that, you continue your fast. It's just a day. That is it. Thank you very much for that insight into the teaching of the beautiful teaching of Islam. And I'll just take about two messages that I've picked up from the Zoom room, just for the benefit of those on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And that is, this is picked from Douglas Yates. He says, love for all, hatred for none. It's a great strap line, but it's not just a strap line. It's a philosophy which, if we are all to embrace, it would make for healthier and stronger communities. And I also have one from our revered MP, Carol Modakan, and that is a really interesting and informative evening. I have joined you with my children who are listening it too. Thank you very much, Carol, for joining us. And we have one from Minister Kofi Agingo, who says, very good information. Thanks for the opportunity for inviting me. Thank you very much, and keep the messages coming through. We now move on to our next speaker for today, and that is a sort of a message of peace, a message of an insight into what we Scottish are supposed to do as we get closer to the polls. And that is to be delivered by the president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Scotland, Mr. Mohammed Ihsan Ahmed. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. I would like to share with you all the beautiful teachings of Islam on exercising our democratic right to vote. As we in Scotland goes to the polls to elect our leaders, I encourage all members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Scotland to fully take part. The following questions may arise in our minds when electing a leader from a field of candidates. What are the qualities that should be looked at? What makes a good leader? Should it be the voters who set the national agenda through the leaders they elect, or should the chosen leader steer the country based on his or her knowledge, expertise, and the trust given? From an Islamic perspective, leadership is a sacred trust. In the Holy Quran, chapter 4, Allah says, verily, Allah commands you to make over the trust to those entitled to them, and that when you judge between men, you judge with justice. And surely excellent is that with which Allah admonishes you. Allah is all hearing, all seeing. Power shall be given to those who truly deserve it, who will make the progress of the nation as a whole their priority, and who will rule with honesty, integrity, and absolute justice. This point is further emphasized by the words of His Holiness, the Caliph and the head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. Nowadays, members of the public vote for the party they support. They do not look at the person representing the party, whether they are deserving of the rule or not, neither as a voter acting with justice, nor as the person being given authority as a result of the votes acting justly. No other figure embodies the trust better than the Holy Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even his fiercest enemies, those who wished nothing but death on him, were forced to admit to his high morals and integrity as leader. Well before his claim to prophethood, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known as Sadiq, the truthful, and Amin, and the trustworthy. His leadership inspired unwavering trust, and his followers never doubted his intentions. His Holiness, the Caliph of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has emphasized the exercising of the right to vote. The real way to effecting change requires a more astute way to pressure the authorities. For example, every member should be mobilized to use their civic and democratic rights rather than staying at home on election days. They in turn should encourage other citizens that if they want to affect change, then they should take part in the democratic process at all levels, as this is the means to bring change and vote in people who will further their rights and causes. The right to hold elected officials accountable can only come when citizens actively vote and take part in a democracy. The right to vote fully and freely is a crucial part of the democratic process and a principle that Islam fully supports. If democracy truly is of the people, by the people, and for the people, then the right to vote must be exercised by every citizen at every level. In the end, I pray, may the Almighty God guide us all as we elect our leaders in upcoming election for the best of our country. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our respected President of Scotland. And I guess the message is very simple. We should all go and vote if we really, really want to make a change. And we should vote for the right people who will make Scotland a better place for all of us. Thank you very much, Brother Iksan. And I guess I'm just running out of time now. I believe I'm beginning to receive messages from somewhere down south in London that we are now already opening our fast and we are enjoying our meal as you people still continue to enjoy your program. Yes, we are also going to join you very shortly. Just in about some 10 minutes time, I believe we would be finishing the program, and that would be the time for us to open the fast. Due to time, I guess we're going to only allow 2 questions to come in, and I'm going to bring the 2 imams in, Rawuddin and then Mansour Clark. And I guess the first question will be going to Mansour Clark, and that is a question someone has actually picked from BBC News, and that is, what is the community's view on BBC article about women not being allowed to visit some mosques currently, including Bay to Futu? And I guess that would be a good question for Imam Mansour Clark to
Absolutely,
answer.
absolutely. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I think just to quickly encapsulate an answer to this question, this has been an issue that we have been discussing with media for a very, very long time. So myself personally, I'm background-wise, I'm a journalist as well as an imam, and we've been campaigning for better diversity and better representation in our newsrooms for a very, very long time. And the reason for that is not just so that we can get what we want to get out there in the news, rather it's so that there's more of an understanding of cultural practices and how people and communities operate and how to report using the sensitivities and keeping those in mind. Now, in particular with this story, we had a particular issue with how even though Sophia is a very good friend of the community, we've worked with her in the past as well, but this particular article mentioned it as a limitation and a restriction on women coming to the mosque, which is entirely, unfortunately, untrue, and we're going to be writing an article in reply to that. There is no restriction at all. Rather, what it is that there is several prayer halls within the mosque, and for the sake of the people that are coming in, within the Islamic faith, women are allowed to pray both at home and in the mosque, whereas for men, it is compulsory if they have access to a mosque to go and pray in congregation at the mosque, and therefore this was an allowance there. All other activities for both men and women within the allowances of the guidelines of the law are still in play. Every single thing else which is up and running for the women of the community is still there, and they're engaging heavily in all of that. Simply the access to the mosque is still completely there as well. It is simply that for the sake of people that are coming in, we had to make a choice between how many people can enter. And so women are still coming to the mosque. It is just that in the actual prayer halls themselves, it has been limited to a specific number of men, including those men have been limited that are above a certain age, that have not had vaccinations, that are unable to bring their prayer mats. And I think it's a very important point that we should remember that within our newsrooms, we should have diversity and an opinion and an option to actually reach out to get comments which are given in context to explain the goings on of these stories. Otherwise, if we continue to not have the nuances within these stories, we again have stories which give very little context to the meaning and to the answer, and it can often cause disturbances within communities and further misinformation.
Thank you very much for that brief answer, but I guess it's quite clear. Our ladies, the Ahmadiyya Muslim communities, the mosque is always open to them. It's just a case of the restrictions of COVID that has brought some of these measures in place for the benefit of all. That brings me to my next, and then actually the last question. And for those of you who are still fasting, I guess we are very near the time to open the fast, which is the iftar. Now, this goes to Imam Rawauddin Arif Khan, and that is, if I am sick, pregnant, or I'm on a journey and still feel very strong enough to fast, is that okay for me to go ahead and fast?
Keep it very short and brief. I mentioned this before as well. Islam is quite clear where it says that Allah Almighty wants ease for you. He doesn't want or he doesn't desire hardship for you. And regarding the fast during the month of Ramadan, Allah Almighty is very clear on that if you are sick or on a journey, then you shall fast. You shouldn't fast on that day, but fast on other days after the month of Ramadan when you're able to, when you're fit and healthy. So we should take the advantage of the concession which is granted by Allah Almighty. And this is also evident from the narrations of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. So the blessing lies in following the commandment. We can't forcefully get the blessings from Allah Almighty. So if there's an exemption and we fall under that category, then we should avail it rather than trying to find a way to still somehow get the blessings. But the blessings will definitely lie in following the commandment of Allah Almighty.
Thank you very much. Fasting is not for us to be putting ourselves in unnecessary difficulties. That is not what God wants for us. God wants us to be pure, and that comes through obedience. And what we need to do is obey when God says, if you are sick, don't fast. If you're on a journey, don't fast. And if you're pregnant, don't fast. Just enjoy that concession and you still get the blessings of it. Thank you very much, Imam Farauddin Arikan, for that very wonderful response. I'll now move on to the last bit of the event, and I guess everyone seems to be getting excited now because we are soon going to be opening the fast and then we'll start enjoying our meal. And I'll move on to our revered Imam Dawood Ahmed Qureshi, who is the Imam in charge of Dundee, Edinburgh, and Fife, to give us the vote of thanks and then also to explain how we break the fast. And I believe he's got some delicious meal to open the fast for us. So everyone, get yourselves ready, get your meals ready, and then we join Imam Dawood Ahmed Qureshi to break the fast. Imam, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Ahmed Sahab. I think it is already time, according to my watch. I don't know if
it's up to you. So if you want us to break the fast, just carry on, and then we just join you, and then we break it. And then
I think it's because according to Islamic tradition, we should break our fast immediately. So, according to the sayings of Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, we recite a prayer which is Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa alayka tawakkaltu wa ala rizqika aftartu. O Allah, I fasted for your sake, and I believe in you, and upon you I rely. And with your provision do I end my fast. With this, we take a date like I have this one, and a glass of water I also have here. So you just take it, and then we call azan, which is call for prayer. So, then we go for our Maghrib prayer, and after that, our meal, we also go for our, prayer in the evening. So,
okay, thank you. I think at this point,
I'm going to fast. Everybody should break his fast. And if you want to come back, then I think somebody will come call azan also. Then we offer our prayer.
Thank you very much. So now the official time for breaking the fast is now due. So I guess everyone can enjoy your dates, your milkshakes, or whatever you've got them ready, and then you can show them on your screens. And then we get the video played of Abdul Shafi Usupnedu, who calls the azan, to officially get ourselves ready for the Maghrib prayer in Scotland.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And that actually brings us to the end of today's event. And I believe our Imam Dawood Ahmed Qureshi will now give us a brief vote of thanks and then closing prayer. And that will bring us to the end so that we can go and offer our Maghrib prayers.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed Sab. First of all, I would like to thank all our members, especially our guests who have come and spoken here. And let me take this opportunity in 1 minute to thank one of our very old friend, Linda Fabiani. Of course, you spoke about her, and you know, she was very, very helpful, organized so many programs for us, and whenever we invited her to our programs, she really came to attend those programs. One or two events which was organized by her: visit of First Minister to our mosque, and also time of reflection in Scottish Parliament, few of our visits of a Scottish Parliament, and also her participation in our annual gathering in down south in in London. So I am very thankful to her for her long association and helping us in different programs. Moreover, all of our guests who came today and some of our MSPs who are going to retire, I am also very thankful to them for their services, for their cooperation with us, so that they don't feel that I have only thanked Linda Fabiani. And I think, of course, all of them who spoke today and they participated, and also our guests who are listening or watching this program on YouTube or other mediums. I am very thankful to all of them, and also especially the organizers of this program in this very difficult time, who have been able to organize this program, and we have enjoyed almost 2 hours. And I hope that inshallah ta'ala in near future, when this pandemic is over, we will meet again inshallah ta'ala in the same way we used to meet in the past. So with these few words, I request all of you to please join me in silent prayer.
So just give me 1 second. I think I just need to chip in this particular message that resonates what you just said, and that's from Honorable Claire Adamson, our revered SNP member of Scottish Parliament, who says, "Thank you so much for the wonderful evening, and I hope next time that you'll be in the mosque, inshallah." And that also was echoed by Douglas Yates. Thank you very much. And now we pass on to our mom to lead us in a silent prayer to bring this wonderful evening to an end. And then we normally raise our hands, but for everyone who want to join in a very quiet way, you also join us in the silent prayer. Imam Sahib, over to you.
Thank you. Please join me in silent prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone. And then that brings us to the end of the event. Sadly, we are just about heading off for prayer. So I believe the chit-chatting and all that would have to end at this moment, I'm afraid. And we come your way with another event, whether virtually or physically at the mosque. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us in the Zoom room, YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.